It's startling new indications that quality control problems at Stratford-based Sikorsky aircraft is resulting in defective parts getting on U.S. military helicopters.
And for the first time, senior Sikorsky officials are sitting down with News Channel 8 to talk about the problem on camera and on the record. Team 8 investigator Cohn joins us with more. Alan?
Ted, Sikorsky's vice president for quality tells Team 8 the company is being very aggressive at trying to track down defective parts. But as you're about to see, one recent scary incident underscores the problem and the concern. This internal Sikorsky document from earlier this month describes a harrowing incident on board a U.S. Navy Seahawk flying cross-country. The aircraft, according to the document, experienced an unusual vibration. Upon landing, they found a piece of the tail rotor had fallen off. A Navy Flight Safety Board determined the tail rotor blade had a manufacturing defect. How serious was the incident? We asked Sikorsky.
So if it failed, there would be big problems.
Well, a total failure of any flight critical part would be an issue, absolutely.
In fact, a top aerospace expert tells us the crew was, quote, very lucky to get back. And when the Navy inspected other Sikorsky-built Seahawks, it discovered 41 other suspect blades.
The obvious question is, how did 41 tail rotor blades with some kind of defect make it onto aircraft that are flying?
In this particular case, we're not happy that they got out there. This is an ongoing investigation right now.
But it's not an isolated incident. Also this month, the Army issued a warning after discovering the walls were too thin on main gearbox housings on Blackhawk helicopters. Tail rotor blades, main gearbox housings. We're talking about the most critical kinds of flight safety parts on helicopters. And a top aerospace manufacturing engineer tells us the fact that these defects were not caught by Sikorsky's supplier or the company is both sloppy and embarrassing. We began investigating reports of quality control problems at Sikorsky 3 years ago. And we continue to receive reports those problems persist. And for the first time, Sikorsky is willing to sit down and talk to us about it on camera. George Klug is Sikorsky's vice president for quality.
Well, no manufacturing system is perfect. We strive for perfection here. We don't always reach it. And getting people to identify the issues so that we can address them is what we're about here.
But sources inside Sikorsky point out the company has reduced the number of its quality inspectors at its Stratford plant from 70 down to 8. The company says it is simply relying on its suppliers to perform quality inspection.
We've also added some inspectors at the supply base. It's actually more effective to take those resources and put them where the parts are made than check them on their way in the factory here.
But according to these internal company documents, since 2004, quality problems at Sikorsky have gone up by 8-fold.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Nick Swellenbeck is an investigator at the Project on Government Oversight in Washington. He echoes other experts, stating the company's apparent inability to fix its quality control problems may be endangering U.S. troops.
Obviously, Sikorsky hasn't prioritized the safety of America's soldiers who are flying in these helicopters, who depend on every single part of a highly complicated flying machine to work properly under stressful conditions.
Our safety record's better than ever. So from an end standpoint, the aircraft's performing magnificently in the toughest environment in the world.
Sikorsky says it doesn't believe the defective edge on its tail rotor blades is what caused part of the tail rotor to fall off that Navy aircraft in flight. As for what impact the company's quality problems have had on business, that is hard to say. While the Pentagon is ordering new Blackhawks to replace those being worn out in Iraq, in the recent past, Sikorsky has lost the contract to build the new Marine One, the Comanche, and in the last month, it lost a $15 billion Air Force contract to Boeing to replace the Sikorsky-built Pave Hawk helicopter. Ted, back to you.